I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is the Honourable Ranj Pillai, the Yukon's Deputy Premier. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and we're here at PDAC. It's exciting to be here. There's been quite a bit of buzz about the Invest Canada North initiative going on. Can you tell me a little bit about it and Yukon's connection to that?
Sure. You know what? Our team in Energy Mines Resources Economic Development and the Yukon Mining Alliance specifically really has helped put this whole strategy together. I think the three territories all felt that it was important for us to tell the unique story of the North. Of course, we make up such a significant part of landmass for the entire country, and really it's all about opportunity. There's so much opportunity in Northern Canada, so not just telling domestic investors, but really sharing that story to the entire world, and no better place to do it than here at PDAC.
Right, and there has been exciting news out of the Yukon at PDAC. There's a road announcement. Can you share the details on that and what the significance is?
Yeah, we had an opportunity yesterday to make an announcement on a $71 million infrastructure investment. We made that investment alongside of the Ross River Dena Council, which is the First Nations community and government that's in Ross River, which is on the eastern side of Yukon. There's some very significant opportunities there right now. First, BMC, which is a privately held company, but have a project called Kutzakaya, which is a significant zinc project. It's going through the EA process right now, and this is really going to help their workforce and their supply chain get into their site. We also have fireweed zinc, which is, people have been really excited about fireweed zinc. Brandon McDonald is the CEO. Very progressive in how he leads that company. They have an exceptional relationship with the First Nation government there. So that's on the North Canal Road leaving out of Ross River, and a lot of people have heard of the Mac Tung deposit, and really it's arguably one of the biggest tungsten deposits out there that's not yet been developed, and that's at the end of that road. So what we're really seeing is unlocking the potential of a number of projects, all in different levels of exploration. But I think the most important part is our government has really focused on building strong, trusting relationships with Indigenous governments, and that's what really yesterday was about. It's about a partnership where the First Nation government and our government are going to work together to build that out. And there's, we've made a commitment within that to support capacity building, post-secondary education, a number of initiatives. So we're exciting news for everybody.
Okay, so you mentioned a company and a project or two. There's actually a lot of companies that are operating in Yukon.
Yes.
I wondered if you could give a sense of how 2019 went up there and what we may expect in 2020.
Sure. As we move forward, it's really about the pipeline of projects that are coming through. Pembridge Resources, of course, which are in production on their copper and gold project, where it formerly was Minto Mine, owned by Capstone. Victoria Gold, really exciting in 2019. I think we had a chance to see each other in Denver. That was exactly the announcement of the first gold pour at the Denver Gold Show. Yukon's largest gold mine ever. So that just came into production last fall. And now we're just, we're excited. Kutzakaya, which I mentioned, but Alexco Resources, and just seeing Alexco with their silver project, the Keno Hill project, going back into production as well. And then on the periphery, we see a number of other projects. Newmont, of course, after their acquisition of Goldcorp on the coffee project, again, going through the advanced portion of the EA process. So some of those, and then projects such as Brewery Creek, which is with Golden Predator, and they're looking at a project that was reclaimed, and essentially they had stopped production, but they now see potentially a pathway forward to bring that back into production. And then, of course, we got exciting teams out there leading projects like the Casino Project, and just to name a few. There's so many, really, at this point.
Okay, and against that backdrop, we've seen some gold price momentum, really precious metals price momentum in the last little while. How does that play into everything that's going on? Does it affect it?
We think that of course is going to lead to some positive news. Our strategy has been about diversifying. The amount of different projects we have in the sense of what the commodity is, just so we can risk manage against certain trends on particular commodities. But when gold runs like this, and we're a jurisdiction that's known for gold, we're hoping to see that translate into more exploration, maybe more advanced exploration and acquisition. So I think that we're excited to see what that brings. We're all kind of closely watching the gold price over the last couple of days and last week and see what that translates into. So I think that's going to be, I think it's going to be a strong story for us. 2018 was the most investment, exploration, deposit appraisal, and build out that we've seen in decades. So it was a banner year for us, and of course that led to the Vic Gold project. So we want to continue to see that those trends and see more mines being built.
Another theme that's really becoming strong right now with investors is ESG. And I think that has a strong connection to Yukon. Can you touch on that a little bit and how they connect?
Yeah, as the ESG conversation has become broader and more of something you're hearing continuously, especially as people look to figure out where to finance projects. We have always felt that those fundamentals are in place in the Yukon from an environmental, social, and governance perspective. When it comes to the environmental side, we have a one-stop shop on our environmental assessment process, which is the Yukon environmental process, and that it really comes out of Canadian legislation in 2003, and that's a system that we think really is something that's competitive with all other systems. When it comes to the social side of it, we're really trying to focus on making sure that projects really positively impact our communities, making sure that we work with the proponents of those projects so they know how to properly engage with our communities. And from a governance perspective, our mineral development strategy that's underway right now is a great example of strong governance. That is a situation where we had 11 self-governing First Nations all pass political resolution with their chief and councils to support working directly with us. So we co-developed a strategy, and the first step of that is an independent panel. And so that independent panel they're here at PDAC. They're talking to different jurisdictions about best practices. We're looking at places that we can improve and what the future looks like. But we're doing that hand in hand with our First Nations government. So these are things that we think as more global investors are pressured to understand the best places to put money within ESG metrics in place, that we have all of those fundamentals and that foundation. So, it's something you're going to hear more from the Yukon. You're going to hear more from the Yukon Mining Alliance. We think it's a huge strategic advantage for us now that we see global investment going that way.
Okay, that's perfect. Unless you have any final points you would want to leave the audience with as we go forward.
No, I think just touching on what we said, we're seeing across the country right now situations where there's some strife and there's conflict around resource projects.
Right.
In many cases, it's there's understanding that has to happen between proponents or provincial governments or federal governments, as well as with Indigenous governments. And probably in most cases everybody's right. Just it's different different ways of looking at things. And I think that we just want to ensure that people understand that, as of our announcement yesterday, here's another project. We're upgrading roads, we're giving better access, and we're doing it hand in hand with First Nation governments. And, we've put a lot of time into making sure that we've had trusting, respectful relationships, that we're patient when we have to be patient. And, those are things now they're paying off for Yukon and for our industry. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is the Honorable Ranj Pillai.